Greetings and welcome to episode 65 of the Lott Carey Women in Service Everywhere digital couch. Greetings to everyone. My name is Sister Doria Larrier and I'm your host for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Let's do a little housekeeping or church announcement. So you know that we are just 1 month out from convention. So we're looking forward to having everybody in the house, everybody in the ATL. If you have not done your registration, please do, because those rooms are going really fast. Get your tickets, get your car lined up, because it's hot, right? It's hot. And we want to be in the place, but we want to be there properly. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. So tonight's episode is episode 65. It is going to actually be focused on empower her, empower her, empower her, in line with our this year's theme for our convention. Dr. Brenda McBurrow, who is our president, has initiated a new project, and we definitely want to highlight that so that we are even more clear. So by the time we get to convention, we are on point. So on behalf of our executive secretary, Reverend Dunn, our president, Dr. Williams, our first vice president, Dr. Victor, our second vice president, Dr. Scott, and the Women in Service Everywhere, Dr. Brenda McBurrow, first vice president, Sister Lynette Richardson, second vice president, Minister Brenda Troy, and the team leader for Men on Missions is Brother Charles Monterio, and the leader for IYD is Brother Stephen Edmonds. We welcome you tonight. Now, it may look a little different. I hope you're still working with us. The platform may look a little different tonight, but if you are available, please drop in the comments your name, your church. Definitely shout out your pastor and let us know that we will see you in Atlanta. So let's have our guests join us tonight. Again, we are going to be speaking with Dr. Carmen Knight and Sister Lisa Murray. Good evening, sisters. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I do appreciate it. So we're going to hop right into our conversation. I'm actually going to take a little backseat this evening and just facilitate a little discussion. So again, we have Reverend Dr. Carmen Knight and Sister Lisa Murray, both of whom are deeply involved in this project of Empower Her. And so they're going to really run this conversation this evening. And I'm going to sort of tag along, if you will, and be, as I told Dr. Carmen yesterday, I'm going to be the angel's advocate. Lean into that, the angel's advocate, based on our conversation today. So Dr. Carmen Knight, Sister Lisa Murray. Sister Lisa Murray, if you would start us off, what is Empower Her? What is the genesis of it? What's the theme of it? How do you participate? How are you and who you represent participate in this project? And that's Dr. Carmen Knight, if you would respond, and then we'll go from there.
Good evening. Empower Her is a project that is, I love to call the baby of our president, Dr. McBurrow, who I like to say she was pregnant but didn't know she was going to have a baby at the time. So when she heard, she told the story to me of a young lady who wanted to go to foreign language school and couldn't go because she just didn't have the money. And Dr. McBurrow heard the lady's story, and in conversation, she found out how much she needed, and Dr. McBurrow was able to help this young lady to go to foreign language school. And not only was she able to take the course to become certified, she ended up teaching in the same institution. And so this happened to Dr. McBurrow many months prior to one fateful morning. I reached out to Dr. McBurrow because Baptist Women of North America, through Baptist World Alliance, we had a conversation regarding some projects that women were trying to launch and needed a little financial assistance. And so I reached out to Dr. McBurrow. She said, hold on. She said, let me call you back. And so about an hour later, I found myself on a three-way call with her and our good brother, Reverend Emil Sampiel of Liberia at the school, at the Lott Carey School there. And he was interested in what we had to say. We told him what we needed from him. And within 72 hours, Dr. McBurrow and myself had received an email from Reverend Emil Sampiel, and it laid out the project very well. And at that moment, that's when Dr. McBurrow gave it the name Empower Her. So the project is about helping young ladies who, once they graduate from school, helping them to go on to become entrepreneurs and helping them to launch their business. So it's going to take 20 girls. That's what we're starting out with, 20 girls in Liberia that have graduated from the Lott Carey School, and help them develop to be business owners, because we know what happens when a woman is not financially stable, and especially if she's not independent. So this helps the women have independence, and this is our own form of building generational wealth.
Excellent, excellent. And Dr. Carmen?
So I got involved with this project. Dr. McBurrow and I were thinking of projects that we could do in the DC metro area for WISE, in order to have the women engaged, because as we are going out and advertising and talking about WISE, well, we light the fire, and then people are like, well, what can I do? How can I get involved?
Right.
Well, and coming up with projects that we could involve them in, this came to light. So the Empower Her is a very important project, because, as Lisa was saying, we need to empower young women. And the age range for this project will be, for Liberia, will be 15 to 24. So that these girls have, something to look forward to, something that they can use to support their families, for the economic development of their country. And, as women, having something to do that is not the traditional role that you're supposed to do. So here we are with Empower Her. We're very excited about this project. Dr. McBurrow, we discussed it during the spring session, and we will, officially kick it off at the annual session.
Okay. So now I'm going to play the angel advocate. So those people who are in Lott Carey, we know our theme. We come alongside communities in order to support them in what they're working on, so they can do it a little better. We do that with our prayer, in certain situations with our presence. We send our funds. We connect with resources, etc. So my first question was, how is this different from what we already do? And in conversation, it sounds like the difference is that we are working on a continuum. So these young ladies in this pilot program are part of our Lott Carey School in Liberia. And once they are aging out or matriculating out, completing their studies, it's not like we are shaking their hands, saying congratulations, and then off you go. We're continuing this support, continuing these resources by supporting them in their entrepreneurial efforts, right? And so that's, I think, one difference, that we're continuing this this mentorship, right? We're continuing this mentorship, not just like an email, a WhatsApp, however that's looked at, a prayer, definitely calling their name, being in contact with them. But we're also helping them with the trajectory of moving to the next step. Once you finish your academic, now we need to make sure that you have an additional stream of information that can boost your economic foundation, and that is through entrepreneurship. So here's the I think the questions for the audience, and of course, yes, I see. Excuse me, I had to say hi to Sister Shardina. I did put her up there. Let me see if I can. If I don't shout this person out, I can't go home. Right? That's my mom. Y'all say, "Hey, mama." Okay.
Hey.
Now, thank you. So I have to make sure that we are clear on what our ask is, right? And so most of us, and I've said this on many of these broadcasts, there are people who go and there are people who send. Both groups of people are extremely important. I want us to think about the myriad of opportunities that we have to support this effort. Oh, wait, we have Dr. McBurrow here. Thank you. Thank you. I will say, Dr. McBurrow, you, of course, were supposed to be in this, but I know you have a lot of running to do, so we'll excuse you for today. Okay. But she's definitely talked about this enough. So thank you so much, Dr. McBurrow. We're definitely trying to move this forward. So I do want to highlight some of the opportunities that we have to, get in where you can fit in. I think that's just the way I'm going to say it. So as I was talking to Sister Lisa and Dr. Carmen, we were talking about what are some real pragmatic ways that we can support this initially, support this long term. And then I remember talking to Sister Lisa before we aired, and one thing that I brought up, she was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." So I think it would sound better from you, Sister Lisa. So you can give that perspective. What are some ways that we can help out?
You can help out by the number one way that I think that you can help out is by doing some sacrificing. So let's say that you typically spend $20 a week at Starbucks. If you could forego,
you stepping on my toes, right?
Okay, I'm so sorry. You can forego a week of Starbucks to make a difference in one of these young girls' lives. You can start your own giving circle. It doesn't just have to be you. It can be your friend group. It can also be finding opportunities here in the United States that the girls can participate in. Let's say one of the girls is starting her own salon. She's doing cosmetology. If there's something online that she can jump on, you can share that information with her to encourage her, to help build her up. There's certain things that do cost money, but there's certain things that do not cost money, because people just need to know that you're standing in their corner for them and that you're walking with them along the way. I say all the time, every Ruth needs a Naomi, every Naomi needs a Ruth. And so we need to stand in the gap and pull up women that are younger than us. And my prayer is that it will become contagious, because we're always asked, what do we do stateside? Well, you can form a group stateside and find some young ladies who just need a big sister or someone to listen to them. In my own origin story, I tell how, me having friendship with older women, it saved my life. And so we have to do that. We have to go back to that. We have to remember that one of the tenets of our faith is relationship, how we treat each other. And we have to stick to what we believe in the Black church is, and that is no one is left behind. So it's a cycle. We need to go back to the origin of who we were and who we started out becoming, and go back and build someone up. And what I want to do is I want to hear, on that great getting up morning when we crown King Jesus, I want someone to walk up to me and say, you sacrificed this and you made my life better. Even if I don't know them, I didn't have a pencil, but you made sure I had a pencil.
Amen.
I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, but you gave into a program. And with that program, I was able to take care of my children and my children's children. And even as we speak right now, multiple generations are living off of that little bit that you gave me. So I think this inspires us to be the missionaries that God has called us to be.
Excellent, excellent. Dr. Carmen?
And I think what is so awesome about this is that it doesn't cost a lot to make a huge difference and transform someone's life. With this project, the initial pilot rollout for Liberia, the training will be in the areas of soap making, hairdressing and cosmetology, and catering. each of the 20 girls will receive a toolkit, which is their training kit that they'll have throughout, the 9 months. It'll be their starter kit. And the starter kit not only includes whatever, tools, materials that they need, but also to pay for the trainers who will be there, during that 9-month period. And the cost of one kit is only $250. So for $250, you can transform someone's life. We can, help a young adult who was destined to being forced into that Sandy society and the Bush school and that the patriarchal practices that they have, to becoming an entrepreneur and even wanting to live. So it's a huge, it's a big difference that we can make for just a small amount of money, and a sacrifice, for us. Okay, maybe we won't have a Starbucks, for the week, maybe we won't, maybe we'll cook instead of, eating out or going to Chick-fil-A. But whatever, but the ways in which someone can participate is either coming alongside of one of the girls to be a mentor throughout that 9-month process, to give the $250 for a toolkit. You can give it individually, or you can have a giving circle, as Lisa mentioned, or get your church involved. Your church can actually sponsor someone as well. If you cannot sacrifice financially, then you can pray. Pray for the girls, pray for the program, and pray for the entire project.
Got it. Excellent. Thank you. So I try to come up with these like short quip phrases in order to remember. So I was just thinking and it may sound odd, but bubbles for soap, right? Bundles for hair. Food. I was trying to come up with like a B word for food. I can't come up with one, but food. So I just want to reiterate the ways that people can help. If you're gonna stay, right? No, if you're gonna send, you're sending prayers, you're sending encouragement, you're sending resources, and the resources can be information. The resources can be financial information. Again, if it's the $250 for one person, and currently I believe there's 20 young women, BWNA has funded the first 20. Am I correct, Sister Lisa?
Yes.
Beautiful. Has funded the first 20 women. They're starting in Liberia, but we want to have this fire spread. We want to have this fire spread. And so I believe that the ask is, let's get it up and running in Liberia, and then let those embers burn elsewhere within our Lott Carey family and community. So one question that I definitely wanted to put on the table, and this is a wrestling. It's a wrestling in my spirit because I've heard it during our Lott Carey conversations at convention, in small groups, in at the water cooler, if you will. And that is the idea that our coming alongside them, and I'm going to be very frank, this is what I said to, I think I said it to Dr. Carmen. I said, you know what? I'm hoping that the persons who want to come alongside and be a mentor are being the mentor from the perspective of, and I'm going to speak about being a New Yorker. So I'm in Brooklyn. I am totally Brooklyn centered all day, every day. Right. I'm a New Yorker first and foremost. Nixon 5. Okay, let me just move on from them. Right. But my prayer is that in our supporting them, we're supporting them based on the training that they are taking. What did I say in my previous conversation before this live? I said, I wonder if, because New York is kind of like fashion capital of the world, if in our conversations that we're careful not to put our paradigm of what, and I'm only speaking about cosmetology at this point, of what our paradigm of cosmetology and what that looks like, because we don't really know at this moment what the training is that the Liberian women will be taking. So I asked a question, and this is a water cooler conversation, so if it sounds rude, I'm just actually saying what people would be possibly thinking, right? So here we go. when you go to cosmetology school, especially here in New York, you have a wide variety of different hair textures to work with. You got to go from the 1A to the 4C. I wonder what the cosmetology curriculum is going to be like in Liberia. It's just an honest question. It's just an honest question. And so I'm wondering, and Dr. McBurrow, if you know, fine. If not, let me just tell you, I'm going to be asking. Because in the conversation of someone coming alongside to help them, let's say it's an entrepreneur who has a hair salon, like here in New York or whatever in the States, and their dearth and breadth of information, whatever that you do in cosmetology school, if that isn't all that they're also going through, I'm hoping that people are going to be sensitive and say, hey, just tell me like what you're studying and then let me guide you. Because I wouldn't want to say, well, do you have awareness or information, or are you going to be using, like if I wanted to bring somebody from here and say, hey, here's a work opportunity, is a curriculum covering that? Like, I don't know, right? I don't know. So in our mentoring and in our support, and Dr. McBurrow, if you actually do know of this, let me know. I don't see anything in the comments, but we're going to wrap up. So I just wanted to let people know that this is an amazing project. It's an amazing project to add to our slew of opportunities to give and support where people are in their own home country, in their own economic opportunities. And while we're doing that, yes, we can pray. Yes, we can. I love that. Like sacrificing. What did you call it, Sister Lisa? Is it like 1 month or 1 week?
1 week of self-denial. Deny yourself 1 week of Starbucks, 1 week of Chick-fil-A, whatever your weakness is, deny yourself and give. That you can say, I'm setting this aside to give to the project. I'm giving this to, because that's what missions is all about.
I love it.
Just that self-denial.
I love it. I love it. So if there's anybody in the chat who is interested in participating in this, and Sister Lisa's church and community, they call it like the self-denial. That's a tough word on me. I may have to come up with another word. It's going to be the same thing, right? It's going to be the same thing. But like whatever that investment is of 1 week, like 7 days, like I'm already thinking about how can I sort of spend this so it works in a lot of different spaces. 1 week of this, or 1 week without this, take that and invest it into this person or this group, this opportunity. And so again, we're starting in Liberia. We want it to spread. We're supporting these women for 9 months. But it's not just we shake the hand, we give the certificate, and then they go. There's also the support of what's going to happen later. So if you know people in the food industry, if you know people in the soap industry, I happen to do that too. If you know people in the hair care and cosmetology industry, let's give what we know, be mindful to just sort of give the information and don't, I guess the word would be like proselytize with. And I'm only speaking again as a New Yorker from like our center here in the States, because that's where we're speaking from, is the hub, because we're not necessarily sure at this moment what the curriculum entails, but how can we make sure that we wrap our arms around them, we sidle up to them, come alongside them in order to walk this journey. And there are many people that are in this chat, many people who are watching and who will watch over time, that we have supported people going to college and to university and to primary school or secondary school, and we still have relationships with them. We still have relationships. So this is another opportunity for us to develop relationships. And I know I've developed relationships with people who are part of our Lott Carey families, and then made a specific trip to South Africa to go see them. And then vice versa. They came from South Africa and came to New York and, came to visit our church, and we hung out, we spent time, and we continue to love upon one another. So as we are working on this global work of with communities and individuals and families, of course, we want to make sure that they are growing in God as best as we can. And as we look forward to them doing, we want to make sure that we're taking care of not just the spirit, but the heart, the spirit, the heart, the head and the hands. And if
Mhm.
this work is going to empower the hands to do the work so that they can take care of their families, I'm all for it. So let's empower her, folks.
Mhm.
All right. Any last words, Dr. Carmen, Sister Lisa?
I just want to say that this is a very important project, and we're just starting with Liberia. And the fact that we can change lives, with just by mentoring, by coming alongside someone with, prayers, financial support, as women in service everywhere, we will be everywhere and touching lives everywhere.
Amen. Sister Lisa?
I'd like to remind everyone that every year at annual session, when I remind you about the day of prayer for the CWNA, this is what we do with the money. We empower women in their
Absolutely.
ministry work. So when I'm asking you, this is what we do with the money. The money doesn't go on any type of extravagant spending. We pride ourselves of being one of the only conventions where the money goes up and does come back down. So now you see where it comes back down to.
Amen. Amen. Exactly. So, folks, if there's any other comments or questions, please drop them into the chat. And if you drop them now and we see them later, then we'll be sure to try to get back to you. Again, please register. We want to see you in Atlanta, whether you're driving, flying, taking a bus, whatever. But we definitely want to see you in Atlanta. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. I do want you to stay tuned, so hold back for a second. And to the family, God bless you. This is Lott Carey Women in Service Everywhere. We are doing the work. Here are two amazing women. I don't know where they are on my screen, wherever they are. But we're definitely excited to continue discussing great opportunities like this new project called EmpowerHER. And when we see Dr. Brenda McBurrow, give her a hug and a high five because she is doing phenomenal work. All right, ladies. I will see you in a moment. And to our community, please still drop in the chat. Share this because this is a shorter conversation tonight. Share it with your church because they may want to get on board. This is a very easy project to get on board. Again, $250 per individual. Again, we're starting with 20, but we can use it, additional funds over what BWNA has already given. And because we want to spread the word to other countries in our convention and other places in our convention, we definitely would love to have more options and more opportunities. So if there's a missionary circle, hint, because I'm saying this to someone specifically who is looking for a global project, this is one. All right. So that week of investment in other people, I just can't get with that self-denial thing. But we'll figure out another word. All right. Peace and blessings, ladies. Stay tight for a second. And to the family, we love to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.